lost in the Lone Star land, with boots on my feet and dreams in my hand. A little sassy but a whole lot of grace. You'll see that fire when you look in my face. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. Barbecue smoke, Friday night lights, cheering for the Astros under Texas skies. A little bit stubborn, a whole lot of charm. This big old heart will keep you warm. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. Barbecue smoke, Friday night lights, cheering for the Astros under Texas skies. A little bit stubborn, a whole lot of charm. This big old heart will keep you warm. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. From the bluebonnet fields to the city streets, every step I take feels like home to me. With a little sass and a lot of pride, this Texas girl's got nothing to hide. I'm a Texas girl with a heart so wide, family and friends always by my side. From the crack of dawn to the stars at night, I keep it real, keep my soul burning bright. Gummy shoe prints, laid them down the street. Chocolate wrappers hiding secrets sweet. They don't miss a beat, they've got a knack. With licorice ropes pulling answers back. Twist the wrapper to reveal the truth. A sticky web spun by a candy sloop. No sour lies can escape the grip. These lollipops always crack the whip.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate y'all. Hope everybody's doing well on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Hello, Miss Rhonda. Hey, DJ. Hi, Miss Kathy. Jacqueline, good to see you. Hey, Dan. There's our Keely. Hello to you, beautiful. Love you so much. Hey, Cinderella. How are you? Let's see here. Teresa. Hello, hello. Let me see who else we got in the house with us. Lisa King. Always good to see you, girl. Hold on, guys. Okay, here we go. It just freezes up back here. Tactical Sportsman Product. Hello, hello. Hello, losers. Let's see here. Reality, how are you doing? Hope you are well. Good to see everybody. Thank you all for being here. Those in the bushes, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate y'all. got to start by apologizing for not coming on yesterday. I had just one of those stupid headaches. I woke up that morning. I had a headache. I had a funeral I had to go to. There was just no way around it. By the time I got back home, my head was just killing me. And so, hey, Cindy, how are you? Peggy, how are you doing? Good to have everybody. So I just couldn't. And then I had my granddaughters yesterday afternoon until late last night. And one of them had softball practice. So I had to go to the ballpark and take her, doing all the things. So it just was crazy, crazy yesterday. But the headache is so much better today. I don't know. I just hate those stupid things. Hey, Mystery Sky, good to see you. Hope everybody is doing good. Ready for the weekend. I was gonna had everything set to talk about Sebastian, but we got some new stuff in Miss Nancy's case I wanted to go over and show you. Um, there was something I noticed and I did turn it in. So I thought it would have been very obvious to a lot of people, but I thought, well, I'm just going to send it on in, and it hadn't been recognized yet. So that was a good thing. And so just doing what we can to help, but always working behind the scenes. Our number one goal over here is just to help the kids missing, the adults that are missing, the teenagers, all the things, because that's what it's about. Hey, cool gamer, good to see you. So anyways, we're gonna do this. We're gonna talk about Miss Nancy, and first of all, we're gonna listen to a couple of interviews. I did notice on WFLA, Jennifer Coffindaffer was on there, and they asked her some pretty hard questions, and she was careful with what she was saying, but she was very clear on what she was saying. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is the best thing I've heard yet, because it goes right along with exactly what we've been talking about. Things are not quite what everybody's making them out to be. Oh, nanny, that okay. I'll look into magnesium. Hey, at this point, it's worth a try. I still haven't got my shot yet. It's at the pharmacy. Hopefully, I'll be able to get it next week. Just don't have the money yet to get it so I can start those shots. But I'm hopeful that once I can get those shots started, that will help tremendously. But we're going to start out. Let's go ahead and let me get our banner scrolling, because we're going to use copyright disclaimer, because we are using the disclaimer under Section 107 Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarships, research. And that is what we are going to try to do. We're going to look into things. We're going to learn things. We're going to talk about them. So let's get us a little music playing softly as well. And here we go, guys. This is WFLA. I have not got their link in yet. Let's see here. Which one is it? Here we go. I will get it put in. If you haven't ever followed WFLA, hey, JB. Oh, man. They're an amazing group of people here. All righty, here we go, guys.
Authorities there with the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI, you being with the FBI, of course, in your career, does this surprise you? Do you believe these reports? Why don't we start there?
I think they are blown out of proportion. Basically, this all centers around the 2 new gloves. Remember, there's 3 gloves at play here, one inside the house, one that we all saw on the side of the road, and then Fox News reported via a source that there's another glove as well. So this all stems around where the other 2 new gloves were going to be sent. Right. So we know the other glove and other DNA evidence was sent to the lab in Florida that they normally use, meaning Pima County. So then you have the question, what do you do with the 2 new gloves since the Bureau's been involved? Do you send it to Quantico? This is the problem. You can't do that because all the profiles and all the work that has been done, you would be starting all over, and time is still of the essence. There is no Nancy. So I understand the decision. There was probably some different communication back and forth, but I think it's been blown out of proportion.
So then why the leaks? I mean, Jennifer, we've talked so often about the relationship between law enforcement and the media. Clearly, there is unhappiness that is occurring here, and it's making it out to members of the press that are there on location in Tucson. Why do you think it's occurring?
Well, I don't think it's probably occurring at the level of the people who are really doing the boots on the ground work. Typically, when there's issues like this, it's happening at the higher levels. And remember, and this is the big point I want to make here. Listen, the Bureau is there only at the behest and at the really the sheriff's office saying it's okay to be working on this case. The FBI has 0 jurisdiction. The FBI has no legal parameters to work there except with and for the Pima County Sheriff's Office. At any moment, they can pull the plug on it. So it's very important that everybody play nice in the sandbox. But at the end of the day, the Bureau does not have the ability to make the calls legally.
Okay,
So that explains that it's not on the lower levels that are having issues, the people boots on ground. It's more at the top end, probably the sheriff and the director of the FBI there, that probably have their differences. And like Jennifer said in the very, very beginning here, to take this sample done in Florida and to move it over to the lab and get a new sample and send it to the FBI lab, you can't do it because you got to stay with consistency so everything matches and is comparable to each other, and so that everything has to stay the same. There's no sense in wasting more time to go to the FBI and redo everything that's being done in that lab. That was very interesting to hear.
I want to get our audience members involved here, and we want to ask because this was the big story last night.
Okay, I'm going to go past all this because he's going to talk about a way to interact and ask questions.
Or comment, absolutely. And you can submit a VIP comment.
Daniel, he sent it to a private lab.
Whether or not people believe the reports, because the report comes out yesterday, Jennifer, from Brian Enton, that he says that he's speaking to people there on the ground, and there's seemingly this unknown element as to who is actually calling the shots there, whether it's the FBI, whether it's the Pima County Sheriff's Department, and then it kind of it all kind of unravels from there with the reports that would follow up then about this withholding of evidence or withholding of information. Clearly there's just friction. Do you think that this is, let me ask you this question. Do you think that this is just frustration boiling over because of how complex this investigation currently is?
I think there is frustration. And look, the FBI came in hot, and Kash Patel said, and there's a clip out there, not just a clip, there's the whole interview. He said, listen, the FBI is in charge. Did you see that clip? That's pretty tough to go in and make those types of assertions when really the Pima County has the legal authority there. So I can see how, again, the top brass and the people at the very top are.
Okay, I want to pause it right here only because of the vehicle that is on the screen. That white Nissan belongs to Annie and Tommaso. Keep that vehicle in your thoughts because we're going to talk later
are having, their issues sorting this out. But at the end of the day, I think the boots on the ground people are doing their job.
Who should be in charge, Jennifer? You might be a little bit biased, being formerly of the FBI, of course, but at the same time, this is always an interesting point of conversation. Should it be the local sheriff's department that knows that area well and perhaps better than any other law enforcement agency, or should it be the FBI and all the resources and all the tools that they have at their disposal?
Well, and we had this conversation with Idaho when they had 60 agents. Now you have 100 agents. So clearly the FBI is in charge as to the movements of those agents, what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. All of that the FBI is running. And actually, the sheriff specifically said, when it comes to those ransom notes, ask the FBI. They're in charge. So he sort of, delegated that, or said the FBI is in charge of all of that. What I wonder, though, is if this is where the rub is, who is really in charge of the investigation related to the actual abduction, not the ransom note piece of it, but the actual abduction. And I think that's where the confusion is coming in, and the frustration, as you put it.
Yeah. Where are we in this investigation, Jennifer, in your opinion? What's going on behind the scenes? I'm curious as to what it actually looks like right now, and where the priorities are, and what the strategy currently looks like.
Well, when you look at the reward going from $50,000 to $100,000, that tells me a lot as an FBI agent, because typically when you know exactly where the investigation is going, when you have persons of interest you're looking at, when you have the answers, you're not asking for answers. And by putting out $100,000, you are literally asking for the public's help. And so that concerns me. It concerns me as to what they really know.
Yeah.
Okay, so at $50,000, you're asking for help, but you're not putting it out there so intently. Hey, look, we're going to dangle more because we need more. I'm going to use this right here as a comparison to Sebastian Rogers' case. Friends, the FBI has a $50,000 reward out. They have never upped it to $100,000. So does that mean that they actually have things they're working on, looking into, following, that kind of thing? Because just like she said, when you raise it, pretty much is very unsettling, because that means there's not much there to be had. So they need desperately those people out there to talk.
Yeah. Now, as far as they're clearly, look, increasing the reward, increasing the call for tips, increasing the call for surveillance video. There's also been a lot made as to whether or not there's going to be accessible traffic camera video from around the area, and what they actually have at their disposal from a vehicular standpoint. Just how much is this investigation right now relying on the public, and relying on tips, and relying on just the hope, really the hope that someone will come forward with something that will help break the case?
It's very reliant on the public right now. And this is going to be a moment like in Gabby Petito, where the Bethunes, where you just...
That's what I thought of. Yep.
That the van, is recognized by somebody that didn't know anything about the case. They don't watch true crime. They don't watch the news. And then it blips up on their screen. That's why it's critical that you and so many other platforms are getting this information out there. That video needs to be shown over and over and over again, because I guarantee you that somebody knows just how this man walks, how he looks, those eyebrows, the lips, the choice of shopping at Walmart for backpacks, things like that. It's going to stick out to them, and they know. And that's what the FBI is looking for. I'd
like to bring in my team here, Josh Scott and Garrett Phillips. Jennifer, I don't know if you have met Josh or Garrett here as far as our operation in the Stream Center yet. But guys, do you have a question for Jennifer? Something that comes to mind while we have her on stream?
Yeah. One of the most compelling parts of this case thus far has been this footage that has gone viral now, that we've seen over the last few days. Coming from the FBI in your background, What are the key things that agents are looking for in a video like this? Is there a specific thing that we can take away? We know that this individual is covered well. And so is there we've got a lot of questions about the eyes, right? Are they able to hone in on a certain piece, or is that part of the reason that it is public is because there's really not much we can take away from this yet?
Well, there's a lot to take away from this. One of them, to me, that stuck out is his casualness, the way he saunters up to that porch like he doesn't have a care in the world. He's not worried about getting caught. This is a very comfortable person at this location. Second of all, that holster is very unique. They are working on identifying that holster specifically so they can figure out who might have purchased it, just like they did with the backpack. We pointed out the backpack is very unique. They've already identified that. That mask is also very unique. Those gloves are unique. There's just a lot of very unique items.
Absolutely. You talk about the casualness that is there. In your opinion, is this someone that you think has experience doing something like this? Is this a high-ranking amateur, as we heard the president answer in an interview or when questioned about this? What is your takeaway from seeing this footage?
My takeaway is an amateur.
Okay.
My takeaway is somebody that either is doing this for money that they receive from somebody, and they need money and they know that individual, and so they said, sure, I'll take this job, and have done.
I agree with her 1000% on that. This is an amateur. It's an amateur. For whatever reason, they were assured they didn't need to worry too much about that footage on the porch because they were going to take that part off. I still question, how did they get that video? I still question, was it AI generated? Because they took it down. And even if, they say you can't record, you can't save, and that kind of stuff, if you don't have a subscription, how did they get that? And with that being said, you watch them. You could just see him walking casually up there, keeping his head down, just sauntering away. And what professional is going to go and get shrubbery to cover up the doorbell camera? That's the most silliest thing you've ever heard of. No professional's going to do that. That was a dead giveaway.
Abduct this 84-year-old woman, but no, this is nobody with military police background, in my opinion.
What makes you say that, Jennifer? What clues? What do you see in the video where you say, "All right, this isn't a pro"?
A couple of things. First of all, I look at the holster.
Ooh, the holster! I've done said it 100 times over and over and over. There ain't nobody that wears a holster and uses a gun regularly gonna put that dadgum holster in the front part of their body and tie it on with a rope. They're not gonna have it in that position. This is someone who is not very comfortable having a gun.
No thumb break. This is somebody who wants to quickly be able to get that gun out and to, I think, manipulate Nancy in this situation. And so they wanted it very accessible.
Dan, no, the card is left on Miss Nancy's front porch.
Secondarily, just the whole makeup of the items he chose to wear. You can still see those eyebrows. You can still see the facial hair.
Once again, for anyone new coming in, here is the white car that belongs to Annie and Tommaso. I believe this is the car he drives. Pay attention to that. We'll talk about a white car here in a little bit.
Hair above his lip. It didn't conceal him enough. He didn't come there prepared to cover the camera. He starts out with his hand and this isn't enough. I think I need to grab some shrubbery, and puts it up there. This is not a professional, in my opinion.
All right, let's take some comments here, and we're going to exclusively focus on just the VIP while we have Jennifer on stream. We'll get to the YouTube chat, the TikTok chat, the Facebook chat, and a little bit. But right now, if you want to submit a question, it's on heyjb.live. Again, no paywall, no sign up required. There's no gotcha moment. You literally just hop over there. You can punch in your comment, and then you can come right back here to the live stream. I stake my reputation on that. We're not trying. It's just for interactivity. So let's go to let's see here. This comment comes in from Beaky. We'll go to Beaky's comment here saying, I think Pima County have messed up this whole investigation. The FBI needs to be informed of everything. What do you make of this comment, Jennifer?
Well, I certainly agree with her. There's no way to run an investigation unless the people that have the resources and the expertise have the knowledge of the facts that exist. So definitely they have to be working hand in hand. I would like to think that they actually are working hand in hand. But again, some of this reporting certainly has us concerned.
Okay, let's go to this comment from Kathy saying, I believe the sheriff is holding back evidence from the FBI. He actually needs to step back and let the FBI do what they find her. I'll jump off of this, Jennifer, and ask you about there was the video that surfaced, I believe, of showing the sheriff at a basketball game as well. In the midst of all this, we had a guest on this morning on our morning newscast who made note of that as well to us, and believing that that was a bit peculiar, a bit bizarre. What do you make of that?
Well, I posted that on my ex as well. I just said I've never seen anything like that. I mean, he's supposed to be in charge of the investigation, and he's going to a basketball game. Look, definitely law enforcement needs to have things that they do to kind of decompress from days, but this isn't the time. And I can tell you that is extremely unusual. I can't think of one case where the individuals that were involved, and certainly the individuals who were in charge, did anything but eat, sleep, and breathe the case they were on until it was solved.
And that's how most everybody has felt about this whole the sheriff going to his grandson's basketball game. He came out and made a comment that he was on the phone the entire time. Okay, but you weren't boots on ground. You weren't receiving everything. How are you going to pay attention to a basketball game and be on the phone dealing with this type of business? It's just not possible. You're going to be into that game and watching. But, I think that was a blip on him. And it didn't make him look good. That's for sure.
Okay, let's see. Now, Emily wants to know, again, submitting a VIP comment on heyjb.live. This is exclusively where we're getting our comments from at the moment. Do we know why they haven't cleared the family members?
Okay. Why have they not cleared the family members? This was done yesterday. This live stream was just a day or so ago. The sheriff has already, at this point, came out and put out this big whole post about the family and their spouses. They're cleared. They're innocent. They are victims. Please be nice. Have compassion for them. Blah, 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 blah. Even though two of them, family members, one family member and a spouse, were the two people that were last known to see Miss Nancy. They are the ones that lived close to her. Their vehicles, the white Nissan that we saw in Annie's car, have been impounded for evidence. How is it you're going to sit here as a sheriff and tell everybody to back off? They're cleared when you're still holding their vehicles for evidence. Let's listen to Jennifer and how very well she puts all this.
And well, you know what, Jennifer, I'll toss that over to you.
It's a great question. A couple of things. They've cleared the Uber driver. They specifically spoke to that. I believe the Carlos down south has been cleared, and of course that person in the alley, which was totally unrelated, has been cleared. But who they have not cleared are the family members, and that's because, first of all, I don't think they're going to do that until they know unequivocally that they are not involved, and I just don't think they're there yet.
Okay. Garrett, we had talked about this before the stream began, the history between the sheriff, Nanos, is how I believe you pronounce his name.
Reality. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Yes.
Correct, Sheriff Nanos?
Yes.
And the FBI. We have a comment in here specifically about that. I want to bring that up, saying that here it is from Rebecca, a VIP comment saying sheriff doesn't like the FBI because a while back the sheriff was investigated by the FBI.
Sheriff's Department.
Right. No, department, right, not depth. The Sheriff's Department was investigated by the FBI. What was that report? I believe that we had something up on that as well.
Yes,
right?
let me see if I can find the exact report here. But there was a report that there was an investigation to, I believe, funding for the department here, and I'll find it for one moment.
Yeah, Jennifer, do you have any, while he's bringing it up, do you want to speak to it?
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with it. Basically, I believe there was about $500,000 of misappropriated funds from, I believe, 2011. I'm going on my memory to 2016. And certainly Nanos and others were named as possibly being responsible, but ultimately Nanos was cleared. I believe another person was actually charged in that, but it was a misappropriation of funds. And the Bureau was crawling all over that case, and Nanos was not happy. But it was a long time ago.
Yeah. So another question about Sheriff Nanos here as well. Yes, about the funding itself. It
should be
Dan says, but the sheriff cleared the family. Why is she saying the family not being cleared? Because the very next day after putting out that statement, he come back out, the sheriff himself, and even said stuff about the son-in-law and how he is still a suspect. The things we're learning from the sheriff, I'm not going by. He is as wishy-washy as they come. That's just my opinion, though.
Report of Nanos coming out and saying that is kind of a bogus report, that there is not something that is affecting his decision making or the decision making of the sheriff's office at the time when it comes to those reports of the withholding of the information. And obviously that's what no one would come out and say one way or the other.
Right, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
He has a quote. He was asked about it in a Fox interview that I'm reading on Twitter right now. He said, "You Google what you Google, you read what you read. I've got no response. I've always had a good relationship with the FBI. They're a good team. They're good people." Leaving it at that.
Adam, with this comment here, Jennifer, since the crime scene has been contaminated, when they catch this guy, this could help him in his defense. Can you speak to whether or not you believe there's contamination of the crime scene?
Just a FYI, the vehicle they're looking at on the screen here is Tommaso's.
At Nancy Guthrie's house?
It's going to be a problem. There's no doubt. But right now, they're just trying to find Nancy. But there's been 4 searches there. The initial search by local law enforcement, then the FBI came in about 3 days later or so and searched. Then the FBI came back again and did another search of the roof. They took a camera and they took the vehicle of Nancy Guthrie. And then they came back for the 4th search of the septic system. That's problematic. Never had a case in 28 years where we went back. You do it all and you do it the first time. And then, by the way, they left the map, too, and the Nest camera holder. There were, listen, I do not like to armchair quarterback because it's so hard, the seat that they're all in right now running this case. But there are going to be issues, no doubt, that any good defense attorney is going to raise.
So
So she just answered the exact same way. We've been all talking about how uncoordinated the search efforts are, how many times they've been to that house, how many times they come back and get something new and different. And yet media and neighbors and anyone who wanted to for the first 6 days could walk up on that property, a defense attorney, unless they have specific direct evidence, tying this person in. A defense attorney is going to have a great time in court. And hello to everybody coming in. Thank y'all for being here. This is WFLA Hey JB Live. I don't know if anybody's ever watched him. I followed exclusively him in the Gabby Petito case. They do an amazing job.
As far as, I want to be respectful of your time, Jennifer. I told you that I would get you out here at 1:30.
Yep, 1:30. I have another interview.
And I will let you go just really quickly as you head out. Do you believe Nancy Guthrie's alive?
I think it's improbable, but I always like to hold out a little bit of hope.
All right. Jennifer Coffindoffer, you can find her. Break the Case, right, Jennifer? If you want to just quickly mention.
Yeah, Break the Case with Jen Coffindoffer on all the streaming platforms. And then also you can follow me on X at Coffindoffer FBI. And thank you, JB. We go way back. It's great to see you again.
It's great to see you, Jennifer. Best of luck to you in your interviews today, and we'll talk soon.
All right, guys. So there is that. Let me get up here, stop this. Let me X off of this so I don't get it all confused. Let's go back to StreamYard. And I'm going to pause our music for a minute because reality says, oh gosh, are they doing a landfill search again? Well, yes, they are. This is something that has not been done yet. This landfill is like, I believe, 6 miles from the home of Miss Nancy's. You see all of those vehicles there, all of them. Fox News was live. They were watching. I believe it was from a drone footage they had. And you can see the bulldozer as they're moving things along. Friends, I'm going to tell you this. This is just my opinion because nothing has been confirmed on this that I have heard. Yes, Miss Rhonda, they were flying the helicopter above the landfill as they were down searching. As that bulldozer was moving debris around, the helicopter is flying across. We knew the helicopter had that little device. And I'm wondering if they weren't trying to find a ping for a, excuse me, a pacemaker as well. I'm not sure. That would be my guess. But yes, you see all the vehicles there. You see all the activity happening. I don't know at this point if they have anything. I don't know. What led them to the landfill? I have no idea. Yeah, the sniffer. Yeah, they're probably, as they're moving the debris around, because that stuff does get packed in. And guys, it's been 2 weeks. It has been 2 weeks. So there's been all kinds of stuff put on top of it if it was out there. So they're using the bulldozer, I believe, to move debris around as that sniffer, the helicopter has a sniffer with them to see if there's any type of ping. Just a guess and 100% just my opinion. But yes, I know, Tam, isn't it sad? Everything they're doing is just a little late, but that's just, once again, my opinion. You know, my opinion don't mean a whole lot. But yes, 100% for sure on that one. This was happening today. So let's hope if there was anything to be found, they will find it. Whatever it is they're looking for. Can y'all hear me okay? I noticed my bubble is starting to move a little bit now. Okay. Okay. So our next one we're going to watch is Ashley Banfield. I just went blank there for a minute. Okay, she's going to talk about some of the things being done and said, and the reporters and some of the things that are happening. I want to listen to some of this. We're not going to watch all of it, but here we go. I want to start this out. I want y'all to hear some of what she's had to say here. Here.
That I just kind of had to collate it really quickly, get on air, and tell you the highlights or lowlights in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. For starters, another piece of my reporting has just borne out to be true, and that is that there are multiple Nest cameras. Look, we had all assumed so.
Wait, what? She is finding out there is multiple Nest cameras. Just like I said the other day, guys, there were several cameras. They're on the roof right now because they're looking for some up high that actually were there. They took them down to see if they could gain footage. Strangely, though, from everything I've heard, they have no footage except for a man one time wearing a backpack and another small clip of a man without a backpack on. It looks like the same guy, but one time he's walking up with a backpack, one time he's walking up without a backpack. I'm just not confident that is actually from that Nest camera. Hey, Tam.
But finally, the
see you,
sheriff
girl.
actually just admitted it, that there are multiple Nest cameras. I had said that on day 3. And the bad news that comes with that is that apparently the video from inside the house in those other Nest cameras can't be extracted, at least not yet. I'm going to explain.
Okay, there we go. Just like I said the other day, guys. I'm not giving y'all BS. I'm not throwing stuff out there. I do my research. I truly, truly do. I don't care how anyone else with the larger channel wants to sit there and talk and talk and talk as if I have no clue what I'm talking about. Friends, I wouldn't do that to y'all. The cameras inside the house, they can't get footage. Not yet. They're still trying, but they can't get footage. The only footage so far that's been pulled is off of the front porch, allegedly. It's freezing in Utah? No. Oh, no, Tam. You stay warm, girl. Oh, Dan, I don't know that I know more than they do, but I'm just, this is my thing. If you have someone that you can talk to about things and you talk it out, you start hearing yourself and you're like, oh, wait a minute. And you go back, you rewatch, you rehear, you listen to everything. It's just a process. And it's right before our eyes. But just like the pacemaker and the timeline right here, just like this timeline got put out, and we all believed that at this certain time at 2:12 a.m., I'm sorry, 2:38 to 28 a.m., that Miss Nancy got too far away from her pacemaker app. That's not what it says. That's how everybody read it. They read those words have not changed. So everybody has read those words, and your mind instantly goes to, she was taken out away far enough that her pacemaker didn't register on her phone. That's not what that tells us. it took me a while to go back over this, to read these words and to talk it out. And it's right before our very eyes. Her pacemaker app shows it was disconnected. The app was disconnected from her phone. It was right there this whole entire time. But everybody took it the first time just like I did. Every single time. And like I said, friends, I'm not going to put out some BS just to tell y'all. Oh, I love you, Tam. You're so sweet. Oh, thank you, TJ. It just aggravates me because it does affect my channel when they do stuff like that to me. It does affect my channel when there's things put out there to correct everything I've just said, but yet, guess what? It comes back to be proven. Do I get everything right? No. Do I do my best? 100%. Let's listen to what she says about these Nest cameras inside the house. Funny how someone said there was no cameras in that house. Yeah, there was.
That coming up in just a moment. Also, something really pissed me off today. You probably all saw this. There was a blue shirt that was left on Nancy Guthrie's front walk, and Michael Ruiz from Fox News saw it in his video as he walked up the front walk and then ultimately saw the blood drops at the front doorstep. And we all wondered, what is that? It was a blue LL Bean shirt. It seemed very, very confusing. And now finally we have the answer. It's Nancy's shirt. I'll explain why it was left out on the front walk, who was using it, and, how this could have happened. That's coming.
She's going to talk about that as well. And guys, y'all remember, as we're showing the picture of the front porch with the blood splatter on the floor, the Ring camera is missing. Just the bracket is there. I still question, why hasn't law enforcement taken that bracket? They could have tested it. But, that's up to them. But I also showed the picture of the blue shirt on the rocks. And it was just left there. Just left there. Friends, I later learned that blue shirt was left there because they used Miss Nancy's blue shirt to get her scent for the search dogs. It should have been, when they were through, put inside a bag, zipped up, closed up, airtight, so if they ever needed to go back to her scent, they would have it bagged up. Guys, I'm going to tell y'all, every person has their scent. Every mother can hug their child and just inhale that baby of yours, no matter how old they are. You can just inhale their scent. When my son passed, I took the shirt he had on the day before. His very, very, very favorite shirt that was so thin, he had wore it so much. It was thin down to the bone thin. To this day, I have it in a baggie, zipped up. I can unzip it every once in a while, and I still have his scent 6 years later. They got that shirt out of Miss Nancy's home, took it outside so the dogs could smell her. They took that scent from her shirt and went to find her. Instead of bagging it up like they should have for future use,
They did something.
here, take her back, okay? Because I got to do this.
Puppy. If
Okay.
anybody wants a puppy,
No, we're not selling puppies on the internet.
anybody who wants a puppy, come and get it.
Sorry, my granddaughter brought me one of the puppies up here to love on. But,
The puppy's on my back.
please. Thank you. Anyways, instead of putting her shirt in an airtight bag to contain her scent, they left it laying on the porch. I mean, on the rocks outside of the porch. Doesn't make any sense. Once again, all these little things they're just poor judgment.
Coming up on this episode as well. The DNA test results are in, and it is a shit show again. They tested the glove from 2 miles away in CODIS and got the results, but they waited on the unknown male DNA from inside the home. Still waiting on that to go into CODIS. Why would they do that one first? That one was such a long shot, right? Side of the road, 2 miles away. I'll explain all of that. The sheriff's put out all these statements today, like just bullet points everywhere, and then cherry picked a few interviews here and there. And then he did something he should never, ever have done. He attacked Brian Enton. Fuck. Don't attack Brian Enton. That guy's reporting is impeccable. His standards are impeccable. The sheriff shit on News Nation too for a graphic that they put up last night highlighting all the missteps of the sheriff's investigation. And I'm not
okay. I'm going to pause it right here just because these are the mistakes made by the Pima County Sheriff's Department, y'all. Delayed FBI assistance, crime scene released quickly. I mean, they came in a couple hours later, they're taking down the tape, they leave, everybody gets access to the whole property. They missed a roof camera, delayed thermal imaging plane, no grid search, unaware of Guthrie family videos, blocked FBI from evidence, no clear investigation lead, backtracking statements, wrongly detaining a man, an Uber driver. 45 minutes away, they detain an Uber driver, which now has been cleared. Yeah, we could probably add to the list. Yeah. I tell you, reality, I'm with you on that one, man. I got questions about him.
not going to lie, every single one of them was a misstep. And somehow the sheriff seems to have a problem with that and shit on Brian Enton. I'm going to show you this confrontation. And Brian's such a gentleman. He didn't even take the bait. And I'm going to play you
reality. No, Brian is still there. As a matter of fact, I was going to reference this for anybody who wants to go watch it, but he did go across down to Nogales, which is just across from Arizona into Mexico. He walked around, he interviewed a few people down in that area, and those people that he talked to, they had no idea who Miss Nancy was. They didn't know she was missing. It wasn't all over in Mexico like it was in Arizona. So you can go watch his interview that he does where he goes to Mexico. But yeah, it was very, very telling, you know.
A lot of the interview with a lot of this new information from the sheriff, plus just a lot more reporting from all sorts of the different sources. I like to say I watch the news so you don't have to, because if you had to watch all the sources and go through all of the, Twitter updates, etc., you lose your effing mind, because half the time during the day I lose my effing mind. All right, let's start here. This is important, and it might just be sort of like one of the biggest things that came out today, other than the DNA results from CODIS. I'll get to that in a sec. Brian Enton sat down with Sheriff Chris Nanos, Pima County, and they talked about cameras, plural. And for the first time, this sheriff finally confirmed the reporting that I had weeks ago on day 3, right? On day 3, I said that my source said there were multiple Nest cameras. The sheriff refused to confirm it. Well, he's doing it now. A couple other things that the sheriff said, they're getting close. Well, Jesus, I hope so. We're at day 17. He said they're getting close. He called the guy a monster and said, if you're out there, you should be scared. That I'm going to play for you in just a moment, as well as this absolute attack on Brian Enton and News Nation's reporting, which was absolutely uncalled for. And it almost feels to me like the sheriff actually doesn't know truly some of the things that Brian Enton has actually reported out from other law enforcement sources, like he didn't know that Savannah Guthrie and her siblings had put out an appeal to the alleged, ransom sender, the person behind the alleged ransom notes. He didn't know that either. So
That's the sheriff in charge of Miss Nancy's case, the sheriff that makes all the calls. He didn't know things, guys. And then here we are 20 days later. 20 days later, almost 3 weeks. And they're no closer. It's insane. I honestly am to the point with all of this, going back, following through, looking at everything. I'm to the point where I think Sumner County doesn't look so bad. Oh, yeah. Brian Enton, he's, even JLR said the other day, Brian, people were mad because he was on the other side of the barricade on the SWAT side. And people were pretty pissed about it. And JLR said, man, he's the GOAT. Leave him be. He deserves it. But yeah, Sumner County, they're not looking so bad at this point.
So that may be a factor here. I don't know, but I'm going to get to that in a second. Fox News has this great reporter, Matt Finn, who's been doing killer work on the ground. And he was the one who got the update today on what the hell that blue shirt was on Nancy's front walk. Sheriff Nanos told him. Let me read for you. Sheriff Nanos tells me, quote, that shirt was used by United States Border Patrol K-9, and it was left behind by United States Border Patrol. Once we were notified, we retrieved it and verified it was left by USBP. And the reporting goes on to say U.S. Border Patrol, again, this is Matt Finn, U.S. Border Patrol tells Fox News' Matt Finn, its elite Borstar team used the shirt for a canine search at Nancy Guthrie's home the night she disappeared. I don't know, was that the night, I guess the Monday night? I'm guessing that's what it means. And then again, when the FBI returned to the property, Sheriff Chris Nanos previously said the bright blue shirt was used by U.S. Border Patrol K-9 team. The shirt was left behind and then retrieved. Video showed it near the blood drops on her front step. Man, that just makes me so frustrated. So I take from that U.S. Border Patrol got the item of clothing from Nancy Guthrie that had her scent and then gave that to the dogs to try to track. And when their work was done, somebody left it there, just left it there. And it was there, I think, for a couple of days before it was finally retrieved. So there's that mystery. I don't think it's satisfactorily resolved, but it's at least resolved. Also, another mystery that I think a lot of you have been talking about and reporters have been trying to get to the bottom of, I think we're down to the bottom of it now. Michael Ruiz, actually, thank you, Michael, for doing your great work out there, Fox Digital. He reported that the sheriff is dispelling speculation about that business card. You probably saw that it was in Nancy Guthrie's door. They stuffed it in there. It was an agent with Arizona's Adult Protective Services, and the name was on there, the phone number, but like, what the hell? How many days after she disappeared did that suddenly show up? And what member of the government walked up on this crime scene and said, oh, here, it just left a lot of speculation. But this is.
We talked about that, remember? I mean, Amazon's allowed to go up there and put a package on the porch. Adult Protective Services allowed to go up there and stick a note in the little side of the window there. In the very beginning, when Brian Enton did his first interview on that porch, that card was turned the opposite way. It was just blank card. That's all you saw. Now, someone has taken it upon themselves to pull the card out, turn it around, and was it there before she went missing? You know what I'm saying? Was it there? I don't know.
This is what Sheriff Nanos told Michael Ruiz. The day she was reported missing, a neighbor called Adult Protective Services. They sent an investigator to check on her. This confirms the report was made after her suspected abduction, but we knew that. We knew that because when Brian Enton rolled up and shot his video on
The little card that was at Miss Nancy's home. The little card that was stuffed in that window right by the doorbell, ring camera bracket, that was there at Miss Nancy's house.
Monday, that card was not there. And this from the Arizona Republic. The Arizona Republic reporter saw the card on February 3rd while taking photographs at the front door. A reporter called the...
You see it right there. You see the card sticking there on the windows part right there. Okay. Now, guys, let's talk about something, shall we? Do y'all remember when we talked about the front porch, the landscaping, and everything? You saw the picture with the tent. When they had the tent up right here where there's bushes of flowers with little purple flowers and the greenery on it. There's no cactus right there. There's no long pieces sticking out from the other little, I don't know what you call it, like a aloe vera type plant. How come we continue to get different versions of that area? All the pictures we had with the tent, because I used that picture, that photo, to prove that this is the investigative tent that was put out there in that area so they could do testing inside that walkway. It had those big aloe vera plants that pointed all the way to the left side of that entry. Why are we not seeing them? It had that little cactus plant right there on the corner. Now all we see is weeds and little purple plants. That's the thing, Dan. You can pull up 500 different versions of what the front door looks like. The landscaping right here. You can see every picture. Go Google it. Look at all the different versions of it. Who the hell knows what it looks like? The picture Brian Enton had, it had the long aloe vera plant right there. This picture from Fox News, it doesn't have a plant there. It doesn't have the little thing. Had the tent in front of it. It was there. What the heck? I'm just flustered because we even have live video footage. We have still shot photos. And it's always different.
The phone number listed. An agent said the card was left after Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, not before. It was left so that Nancy Guthrie, an older adult who lived alone, could contact the agency if she needed services once she returned home safely. The Republic did not report on the card at the time. I don't know why. That would have been helpful because there was a lot of speculation. People were going bananas saying, see, she's being beaten. No, this was just, first of all, I can't believe that the person who left the card there wasn't watching the fucking news. 3 days into that story, it was the biggest story across the country, let alone in Tucson. Who the hell is this agent who just went up and said, call me? Okay, I'm done. All right. Let me go to some of the statements from the Pima County Sheriff's Department before I get to the real hot and bothered stuff, because he was so pissed off at Brian Enton. And now I'm so pissed off at the sheriff for being pissed off at Brian Enton, because nobody should be pissed off at Brian Enton. Before I get to the first statement from the Pima Sheriff's Department, and it's an important one because it talks about the DNA. The CODIS check came back. First off, quick note from my sponsor. Have you checked out Wild Grain yet?
Okay, let's get through her little sponsor. Everybody's got to do it.
You feel to start your support line.
I want y'all to hear this next part.
That's a gut punch, right? At this point, there have been no confirmed CODIS matches in this investigation. So my first question was, well, what about the DNA inside the house? right? Does that mean you put it in there too? Because I would assume you would take the DNA from inside the house, this unknown male DNA that's not one of her direct, circle of friends or family. You would put that into CODIS first because that's the important DNA. The glove 2 miles down the road, okay, I got it. Yeah, it's important, but the house, yeah, they didn't. It's not done yet. So the next statement is.
So once again, we have more frustration. Yeah. Yeah. I would love to have a sponsor. I really would. No, Lisa, she's not upset about Brian Denton. She's upset about the fact that they used DNA from a glove 2 miles from Miss Nancy's home, but they haven't used the DNA they found on day one inside the home. They haven't got it tested yet. It's not been back. It hasn't been put into CODIS yet. So, yeah. Frustrations all around with it.
Is here. DNA, this process takes time. As mentioned above, the gloves submitted to CODIS produced no hits. There is additional DNA evidence that was found at the residence, and that is also being analyzed. Watch this space. We'll find out when that's going to come back from CODIS. Hopefully, we'll get that. Maybe we won't. Maybe they will hold that. Maybe it's a strategy. I don't know. I'll give them that. But so far, we're being said it's also being analyzed. And by the way, I want to tell you something. I think a lot of us thought that the glove from 2 miles down the road was that glove we've all been looking at in a photograph by the New York Post. But TMZ reported today that is not the glove that was tested for DNA. It was a glove, but it was not the glove, which is curious because it looked a hell of a lot like the glove on the perpetrator on the doorbell cam. But okay, TMZ reports that's not the glove.
So at this point, who are we supposed to believe? What are we supposed to believe? Miss Nancy's missing. Where is she? We don't know what gloves are what. We don't know if they got anything. We don't know anything about anything. But one thing, 100% fact that we do know. Where's Miss Nancy? She's still missing. We need to find her. Okay. We're going to stop it at this point. Definitely, if you'd like to go back and re-listen to everything she's had to say here, go back and take the time to listen because that was a good report she was doing. She was calling out all kinds of things that needed to be said. From here, I got some things I want to show you. There's a new video that has come out. I know, right, Michelle? I don't even know why she's going by that. It's just too crazy. Too crazy, too crazy. Let's see here. Let's play this video that was taken 0.4 miles from Miss Nancy's home. Okay. 0.4 miles from Miss Nancy's home. This was posted on a Ring app. Here we go. Now, I want you to take note of this car here. And I wish, because of it being a video, I can't pull it in very good, but we'll do that because I do have screenshots of it. But you notice there's a white car there. You can tell there's lights on inside of that car. Did that person we see at the front of this vehicle here, did they just get out of the car? Or could it be that they walked by and tried the door handle? I'm not sure, but let's watch. Is it playing? Yeah. Here we go. I've got it paused so we can look at it very good because this is just a little ways from Nancy's home. Why is it not playing? It doesn't want to play. You will see this person walk on off and it goes on down. Okay, hold on. We're going to stop sharing that. It is not working. I apologize. I had it all recorded so that we could look at it, pause it, and all the things. But let's just go and let's look at the car itself, the person in different spots. Okay, here we go. I've lightened it up here. You can see this person walking here with something blue, maybe here. You can see inside the car very well. The headlights are on. You see the lights inside the car's on. Even the door handles lit up. They're walking away. Let's keep looking. This came from a Ring camera. You can see the person blurred right here. What kind of disguise they're wearing, I'm not sure. And then you can see them once again here. You see their feet. They're about to take a step here. It's very strange. They're carrying something here, it looks. I'm not sure. But looking at it, I noticed this. Do y'all see this pink mark here? Do you see this little shiny place right here under the side window? This is illuminating down onto the ground, the logo of the car. Let's zoom in. You can see inside this car very well. Has white upholstery. It's got the little wings here on the side. You see it very good. You can see this is lit up. You see the lighting from under the side mirror. You can see the lights on here. You can see this person very strangely here. Not sure what they're carrying. Not sure what they got on here either. I don't know. They were walking out of this driveway and they do go down and disappear. But if you pay attention right here with this circle, we now know that this, oh, let me pull it in a little bit. This side mirror is illuminating the Mercedes label. I'm not sure, Lisa, if that's a backpack because it doesn't clear up much. And I think they turned this way, and this is where they're turned over towards the car. But they've got something right here, and it has a blue tint to it. They do end up walking on out. But this was taken from a Ring camera. But the car is a Mercedes. Remember the Land Rover that we saw, the gray one we talked about? Thank you, Tam. It took me a while, but I'm like, oh, wait a minute. My brother, he drives a Lexus. And when you open his doors, under his door has the reflection onto the ground, and it spells out Lexus, and it has the logo. It reflects down onto the ground. And I noticed that when I was looking at these pictures, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. And then what I did was I took the picture, of course, I zoomed it in. There's the front lights on. Okay. We can see into the car. It's got these fancy seats here, white leather, it looks like. You could see the door handle lit up, and I was like, where is this light coming from? And that's where I saw the Mercedes logo. Friends, if this is something from the neighbor's camera of someone here doing something, having something to do with Miss Nancy's case, we got to talk, because we know there was a white van involved. It wasn't just a simple used up old white creepy looking van. No, it was a higher end, newer modeled van. We saw that in the little video that we did and put together. Then we hear about a Land Rover, a newer modeled Land Rover. Now we have a Mercedes. Guys, hey, will you put her some food down, please? Thank you. Yeah, go ahead and put her some water down. Thank you. Sorry. These people, if they're all involved with Miss Nancy's case, they're driving very expensive cars. The new video is showing us a Mercedes, a white Mercedes. In the beginning, a lot of people assumed it was Tommaso's white Nissan. That was not a Nissan. It was a Mercedes. We saw the reflection on the ground. So does that mean, lean it to the side if you need to get it, the container thing. Okay, sorry. My granddaughter's getting my dog some food. So is it possible that we're looking at people with money taking an 84-year-old woman and kidnapping her? That makes no sense, friends. Why are they going to kidnap her? Why are they going to ask for $6 million? They've already got these fancy cars. Tomato's car is a white Nissan. It was the one that was shown repeatedly in the video from WFLA. It's just a white Nissan SUV. That car we saw a while ago was clearly a Mercedes. Yeah, TJ's right. 6 million is like $6 to us with them people, you know? I mean, some of this isn't making sense. You would think they would somebody would have hired some criminals to go in and do all the work they want done. Even Jennifer Coffendorfer, being retired FBI, said this person is not experienced in this kind of thing. What kind of people are we dealing with that aren't experienced at going in and kidnapping a woman that is elderly? They knew to turn off her pacemaker app on her phone. So they knew she had a pacemaker. They turned that off. I imagine her children had the code to her phone in case they ever needed to get into her phone. So it would have to be somebody that had a code, right? Things aren't making very much sense. None at all. So what the heck is going on? And why is it the sheriff's going to put out a statement to totally The Guthrie family, including all siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects in this case. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. Y'all, even Sheriff Craddock's not that stupid to do that with Katie and Chris. Come on already. They still have Annie and Tommaso's vehicles. They still have those. They took those vehicles for evidence. And we have this video here that's going to show a person that's got a light in their mouth. A light. Friends, it is carpenters. It is people that work on digital type equipment that need both hands. Anything that's going to require both hands, you use a flashlight in your mouth. And he's got shrubbery. He has shrubbery to cover a camera so that he can take it off and take it away, because we now only have a bracket. A bracket. It's still sitting there on the door. The bracket that was touched, that was moved around, could have had some type of evidence on it come day one, but they chose to leave it. Why? We saw him walk up to that door. He was just sauntering up there as if he had no cares in the world. You got to ask, was he planning on someone opening the front door for him? Was somebody supposed to be there to let him in? The back door was left open, so we know somebody went out that way. How many people are involved? And what kind of people are going to do this and yet have enough money to own high-end vehicles? Exactly, Tam. I love you, Tam. She gets me, y'all. She reads my mind. Tam says, Lolly, him having that light in his mouth, now you can't get any information from his eyes. It's all blurred out due to the flashlight. Yeah. You think about it. If someone walks up to you and they've got a flashlight shining right in your face, you're not going to be able to even tell who it is walking up to you. They can be far away from you and you're not going to be able to make nothing out because that light is in your face. Just like the Ring camera. I think his only downfall was the one time he put his hand up there to hide the light, but had his eyes above his glove. That was leaving the light source from the Ring camera, if there was any, below his hand. I mean, above his hand, but yet the light in his mouth was below it. The only one time that you can see his eyes without the light interference. I'm telling y'all, Sebastian's case doesn't look so bad. They have not cleared Katie, Chris, nor Seth. But they sure as heck haven't came out and said the families are victims. Have compassion. Eric Craddock ain't that stupid. Just like we heard Jennifer Coffindaffer at the very, very beginning say, the FBI offering and upping the reward to $100,000. There was lots of talk about, it's only because Miss Nancy is so popular. She is, the mother of a reality type star. No, has nothing to do with that. Has to do with the fact that they don't have anything. They have to entice. They let that 50,000 sit there for a while. Now they got to entice those people that know things with more money. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. The FBI has never upped that amount in Sebastian's case. I honestly believe they have things. They know things. They want to find Sebastian first before they act. I believe Sumner County, possibly the FBI, possibly the TBI, all think Sebastian could be alive. Give him time. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we're at 2 years. Sebastian has not been seen, heard from, no evidence left behind whatsoever. And we're at the 2-year mark, 6 days away from the 2-year mark. Friends, after 2 years, if everything that they know, everything they have pointed to Katie and to Chris, don't you honestly believe that they would have came out and said, Katie and Chris and Seth or whoever, we have been able to clear them because there's nothing linking any of them to that moment that he could have walked out, ran away, disappeared, vanished, whatever you want to call it. After 2 years' time, we're talking 20 days with Miss Nancy's case, and he's tired of everybody talking about Annie and Tommaso. Come on already. We're at the 2-year mark. Hold on just a second. So yeah, Katie and Chris and Seth would have been cleared if there was absolutely nothing. I honestly believe they would have been cleared. That tells me that with Sebastian's case, they know things. They have things. They are keeping it so close and so tight because look at Miss Nancy's case where people get a little piece of something and it runs and grows, and before you know it, even law enforcement's confused about all the shit. It's crazy how that's working. Crazy how within 20 days we've heard multiple versions. Multiple versions of everything that's going on. Oh, Chell, I did. We've already done a whole live about it. The big pharma. Who could afford to drive those high dollar vehicles? Who could afford to purchase those Mercedes, Land Rovers, the high-end dollar type of white van? Those are the people that could do that. Those are the kinds. It's not just somebody that has a criminal background. Nuh-uh. They're not getting those kind of people. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to get those kind of people. Because if they made a mistake and left evidence behind, they would get a hit in CODIS because they've already been in trouble with the law. Their DNA is in a database. Yeah, Tam. I mean, you can't overlook that. My only question is that Mercedes that person's vehicle that was walking past? Or does that vehicle belong to that homeowner? That's my question. Because if it belongs to the homeowner, then that's off the table. But then you go to the Land Rover. You go to that white van. It wasn't just an everyday looking white van. It was very distinctive. It was the kind they make into little homes in there. No, this was 0.4 miles from her house. It was one of her neighbor's Ring cameras. This was right outside of his house. And I believe, from what they can tell, this person was walking to Miss Nancy's house in her direction. So here we have this whole case, 20 days, every day, different things being said, evidence being left behind. It's taken them 4 times to go into her home and collect evidence, guys. That should have been done thoroughly on day 1. Thoroughly. It should have been done on day 1. Lots of confusion with the FBI, the sheriff's office there. Honestly believe the FBI is doing what they do best. Honestly believe that the sheriff's office, is doing all they can do. But I do believe the sheriff himself, Nanios, is a little hyperactive. You know what I'm saying? I think he's just ADHD all over the place. You can tell that in his press conferences he does, because he bounces around. But here we have a Mercedes, a Land Rover, and a higher end white van. Not like a work van, not like just a older modeled van. All of these vehicles tell a story in themselves, I believe. Today we have activity at the landfill itself. Do they believe Miss Nancy or her pacemaker was put in that landfill? Yeah, a sheriff that doubts his own officer's theories. Yeah. I'm telling you, Sebastian's case is looking more normal as the days go by. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Crazy to me, but yet the activity today is for them to search a landfill, they had to have a warrant. They had to have just cause, and they had to have something that made a judge say, yep, it needs to be done. Go do it and sign off. A lot of these things can't just be done because somebody had a thought. You got to have legal process. It has to be done legally. Look at Katie and Chris. They had search warrants done a year after Sebastian had been gone, and a judge felt they had enough evidence and signed off to allow them to go back in their house. That tells you right there. They have things. And it is frustrating for us because we want to see them locked up, because we honestly believe 100% with our hearts that they are guilty. They are not good people. But for law enforcement, they got to have a reason. They got to have something that they are either waiting for testing wise. They got to have something where it gives them just cause to hold off and not do anything until that young man is found. Do they believe, like we all have questioned, that Sebastian will come home when he's 18? I've often wondered if that's what they're holding out waiting for. Because if he pops up at 18, sheriff's department will get to pull him in and ask him questions without his mother or his father present. His stepdaddy can't even get in there. So are they waiting for that? Is that what they're waiting for? Because that would be the smoking gun. That would be the ultimate. It happened to him, so to get his firsthand account would be the nail in the coffin for somebody. My question is, where's Miss Nancy? Is she close to her house? Did they go in? Did they take her? What kind of evidence is left behind inside that house? Is it blood? Is it body fluids? Is it sweat? Is it a glove? Was it the mask? Did they take off the mask and leave it laying there? There was some kind of evidence that they could draw DNA from. The back door was wide open. I still have questions for Annie. How did you get there? What way did you go when you got there? Because if you would have went in the front door, you would have seen the blood. It was right there. If Annie and Tommaso would have opened the garage door, there was blood right there. They took Miss Nancy's car because the blood was right by her car. Was there some blood on her car, in her car? I don't know. If you went in the back door, the door's open. So if you step foot inside the house and it's a crime scene, as we've been told, why did it take so long for them to make a phone call to the 911? Patty, the back door was left wide open. I believe the back door was a point of entry. I believe the front was just to take the camera so there it never was to be seen. Nothing could be retrieved. I believe, and it's my opinion only, but I do believe these people thought they could come in, take whatever, something possibly went wrong. For it to be a crime scene, there's nothing to say, well, Miss Nancy just wandered off. I haven't heard that, Tam. I would be interested to hear that. Tam said, I heard, I don't know if it's true, but I was told by someone that Nancy has a tunnel from her home to somewhere. I would like to know, because is that the DOJ's way to help her get safe, stay safe? You know what I'm saying? For her home to be a crime scene, this is where I'm getting at, guys. Listen close. If her home is to be considered a crime scene, which they have said, they're collecting evidence from the scene of the crime inside her home. If she was just to have wandered off, whether it was out her back door into the wilderness, whether it was down this tunnel, why is there a crime scene inside her home? What happened in her home? Who was there for them to get DNA that they can prove is not Miss Nancy's? Thank you, Tam. That would be interesting to look into. So for her house to be considered a crime scene inside and outside, that property, a crime scene, why in the hell was it not guarded? Was it not roped off? And why was people allowed to go all up in there? It was a tunnel during monsoon season. It would run the risk of collapsing. Oh, desert area, if was tunnel during monsoon season, it would run the risk of collapsing. Gotcha. They do have some very bad flooding. They have the Bat Bridge down there, where that whole area is a sandy bottom, right? You know, that JLR walked all across. Several people were down there looking around as well. That is for the monsoon season, for the high floods that they get. It is flash flooding that comes, it happens, it rages, it sweeps, shoosh, gone. You know what I'm saying, kind of thing? That is for a lot of that runoff. Will somebody ever be arrested, or will Miss Nancy's case go cold? I think we're far from it going cold. Therefore, I hold out hopes that they will find something that they need. I hope and I pray that Miss Nancy's case will continue to move forward, that they will continue to work this case. I do know that as of tomorrow, the property, the roadway in front of Miss Nancy's house there will be going to a one-way street. You will only be allowed to park on one side of the street or the other side of the street, kind of thing. And that is to control everything. Let me see here. I was just looking to see what I could, if I found anything else, making sure there wasn't new updates or anything. What did you think about ring under the glove? I'm not sure, and I'll tell you why, Michelle. I've seen photos of that hand where it looks like there's a ring, and other photos where it doesn't look like there's a ring. I'm not sure what I'm trusting with everything I've seen. We went over the whole thing because I thought, oh my God, this is AI. This is AI. We did that whole thing 2 days ago about that video because things weren't matching up with what I'm finding. Since that video, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm questioning myself, because even photos of the front of her house always have a different type of landscape. Not a lot of it's matching. Are there people out here just putting out different things to get everybody confused. I don't know. It's really pissing me off because what the heck? Makes me want to go there so I can see for myself, so I can know, hey, okay, am I on the right move, the right thought process, or do I need to get the heck off of that train and go a different direction? I've seen it in other ones as well. Like I said, Michelle, a bunch of them, and I've seen it without it to where you can't even see it in the same angle, the same still. It just, I'm not trusting a lot of this. Is it AI? Is that what's happening? Are people creating it? Are people, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is this photo, and let me get it pulled for you because I know this photo right here, I know for a fact was real time. That is her door. That is her window thing by her door and her empty bracket for her Nest doorbell camera. And I know that because Brian Inton was live. I paused his live and took that screenshot on my phone. So I know that for a fact because that was a live video he was doing. And I had to do the screenshot. I had to crop it in so we could see just that area right there. Now, I know this is real because JLR was live. And I had to pause it to zoom it in, to crop it out to where I could see this suspect that was detained prior to the raid that night, the SWAT raid that night. I know that's real. Those two things are about what I know is real. Everything else is like, what the heck? Oh, and this right here. Here's one more that I got here. This right here, because that was in Brian Inton's video as well. Same time the bracket for the camera, this was in there as well. That was live streaming with Brian Inton up there on the porch. My question is, why didn't they collect all that little debris? I've said that 100 times already. It bothers me. Why didn't they collect all that little bit of debris right there? Maybe it had some evidence. Skin follicles. I don't know. A sweat drop. I don't know. Test it. But they just left all of that just like it was. It's crazy to me. A lot of things don't make sense when it comes to all this. And I'm questioning so much of it. But at the same time, we all still have that number one question. Where the hell is Miss Nancy? Where is she? I was trying to find here and I can't find it again. I don't know where I stored it. There was a flight pattern. It was done in yellow, a flight pattern. And guys, it goes starting at the very, very top of that picture because it showed this down below. And then they had the flight pattern in yellow across this picture, or a picture like this, straight above. Starting at the very top, there was a line that went from right to left. And then it came back and went right. And then came back and went left. It just back and forth, like a grid. And then when it got to the very bottom, it went up, then down, then up, then down. There was a definite flight pattern with that helicopter over this very active landfill search. Like I said, you see the bulldozer there moving everything around. I honestly believe that is the purpose of that helicopter flying over at the same time, to see if there was a ping of any sorts. People looking through it as it's happening in real time. So, I don't know. I just pray that that evidence that Ashley Banfield was talking about, that we've already talked about inside the home, from those cameras, the crime scene itself, DNA left behind. Let's pray they get a hit. Let's pray that at the time that gets tested, there's a name attached to it, an address attached to it, a physical picture attached to it, because we need that. Hang on, guys. Let me see if I can get this sent over, because I just got a message. Let me get this here. And this is, okay, let me see if I can pull it up here. This way it'll be a lot quicker. Let's hear what Brian Inton has to say. And this is an update. Thank you all for being here with me and listening and caring about what I got to say, because, guys, I'm not perfect, but I'm going to do the best I can. And we are going to give you what we got and what we can find. And everybody was assuming that white car was Tommaso's white Nissan. I don't think it is, guys. I think it's a Mercedes. Okay, let's see. More than... Okay, let me see here. Let's go to his videos. See if it was a video or a live that he did. Hold tight, please. It's got to be in here somewhere. I got to find it. Here it goes. Here it goes. Here it goes. So if somebody could drop. Whew, excuse me. What about what she uncovered the billion? That's what I'm talking about, Patty. If that Mercedes is part of this. Whew, excuse me again. And then we got a Land Rover and a high-end type van. Y'all, we're not talking just criminals here. Nothing's getting a hit because they're not everyday criminals. It all goes back to the same. If somebody can, oh, thank you, TJ, for dropping Brian in. We're going to look at this one right here. Here we go.
Hey guys, so we just got an update from the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office. There wasn't a ton of new information, but I wanted to read it to you guys. They say that detectives and agents continue to actively follow up on leads. Neighbors have submitted surveillance video from the area, and investigators are carefully reviewing the footage. DNA analysis is underway on biological evidence recovered during the investigation. This process can be lengthy, and they're saying there's no additional updates there. In terms of the suspect, and this is kind of interesting, investigators continue seeking information to identify the individual from the doorbell surveillance video. As the sheriff has previously stated, while we are requesting information related to the person seen on video, investigators are not ruling out the possibility that more than one person may be involved, which is something people have been saying to me for a long time, experts I've been talking to, that they think there's more than one person, that the person we saw in the front on the doorbell camera, there may have also been someone on the back side of the house. And it's just interesting that they included that in today's update. Investigators are not ruling out the possibility that more than one person may be involved. So that's the latest. Of course, if you have any information, call 1-800-CALL.
All right, guys.
Hey
And let's
guys,
see.
it's Friday morning here in
Was this morning?
Tucson, outside Nancy Guthrie's house. I wanted to show you, like, there's so many more flowers that have shown up here, which is really nice. A lot of the neighbors have been bringing them by. There's a lot of notes here for Nancy's family. Let Nancy come home. It's never too late to do the right thing. God is watching. Prayers for Nancy. So it's nice to see. They're all yellow. So it's haven't heard anything from the Pima County Sheriff's Office yet today. It was really rainy here and windy this morning. The weather's kind of crazy in Arizona. Now it's like sunny all of a sudden, kind of like Florida. But I'll keep you guys posted with any developments. I got a couple things I'm looking into today. We're working on a big special tomorrow night for News Nation, which is going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern. We're going to answer a lot of questions, have a lot of experts on, some new reporting. So, yeah. Oh, I noticed this too. This is new. Someone wrote, an open letter to the kidnappers. Feel free to read and return it to this envelope. It's kind of interesting. I'm going to read that later, see what that is. But anyway, I'll keep you guys posted. Hey guys, it's Friday.
All right, guys. So there we go. An open letter to the kidnappers. I wonder who did that. Interesting. Yeah, Patty, I believe so. I honestly think that there are either 2 to 4 people, 3 to 4, really. I think there were multiple people involved in this. I think there was people walking around, making sure nobody else was out and about. I think people were inside. They honestly believe from the timeline they put out, 41 minutes, the perpetrator or perpetrators were inside that home. Friends, it doesn't take 41 minutes to go in and attack someone, to go in and say, I don't know, nothing was taken. Guys, there was nothing taken at all inside that home that we know of. So this was not a burglary. This was cutting her Wi-Fi. This was personal. Do you know what I'm saying? This is personal. When you have someone that is 84 years old, you, whoever you are, younger than her, exactly, Tam, you're going to take her down quick. Brian Koberger, unalived, 4 people. They said in less than 15 minutes. What are they doing in that home for 41 minutes? It wouldn't have taken them no time to take Miss Nancy down to where she could not interfere. She was 84 years old. She had trouble walking any distance. She had a bad heart. She took medication because of all the pain she was in and dealing with. It would take no time for them to take her down. And I'm not just talking unalive her. I'm talking disable her enough to where she couldn't cause a problem. So what else were they doing inside that home? Yes, Patty, it does sound personal. Yep. 100%. She said, if it was a robber, they would have left her there why the hell takes, yeah, who the hell takes a 84-year-old woman? Exactly. This has to be personal. My number one thought process when it comes to this being a personally planned, I'll say, is we go back to this timeline that they show us. And when I caught on to what it said, and I'm talking to a friend, and we're like, oh my gosh, pacemaker app shows disconnected from her phone. The app was turned off of her phone. Probably 96% of the people that own a cell phone have a passcode, have a way to unlock their phone to gain access to it. Some random Joe off the street ain't going to walk up in there and know a way to unlock her phone. From 147 to 228, 41 minutes. What in the heck were they doing? Let's go back and think on it. At 1:48 p.m., she sent on her computer a document to the Department of Justice at 1:49. They said her Wi-Fi was disconnected. She barely got her email off in time before they disconnected her Wi-Fi. Were they looking to see if there was any backed up documents? Were they trying to destroy all the evidence she had? Well, all of it was in that email. The Department of Justice had it. Thank goodness they were 1 minute later disconnecting her Wi-Fi. But her email that the Department of Justice has is time-stamped at 1:48 a.m. Did she know somebody was coming in after her? Did she rush and hit send on that document so she could get everything to them? Now we have expensive vehicles involved in possibly her abduction? You got to look at that bigger picture. You have to stop and think these are not people that are hidden in CODIS. That means they are not people with troubled past. Because if they had a troubled past, if they were somebody that was just hired because they needed some money, there would be a hit in CODIS. But there's not. None. Not that we know of. But guys, the FBI is searching. They're boots on the ground. They know what they're doing. They know how to go about doing it. And there may be some discord, but you heard what Jennifer Coffindaffer said. That's going to be on the higher end. That's not going to be the people on the ground. They're doing their job. They've searched Miss Nancy's home 4 times. They have searched Annie and Tommaso's house more than they searched the crime scene. Why is that? Why is that? Did these people want to take her out? Did they contact her son-in-law? Is this him doing this and choosing people who did not have a criminal past so that they couldn't be linked in? It would take longer and more effort to connect them here. Did he choose people that were across the border over into Mexico because their DNA would not be in our system in the United States of America? Patty, she did not. She did not have an alarm system on her home. She just recently had gotten the Nest cameras and had, they believe, emailed in her subscription. It had not been received. She did not have the passcode to set up her subscription. Therefore, nothing is recorded, nothing is stored, nothing is saved, and nothing is stored. So how did they get this little tiny footage on the front porch? They didn't get anything inside the house because there was no subscription. So was she in the process of getting herself secured up? Had she never ever needed it before, but things were starting to get out of control with her work that she had been working on for over a year? Was her daughter and son-in-law causing so much distress in her life that she was nervous about them? We don't have the answers to any of that. But it's all very possible. Very, very possible. And so we have to look outside the box. We have to think outside the box. We have to be able to see all of those possibilities to narrow them down to the most plausible. And I think that's where we're at. There's only a couple of choices we have here. If the DNA is not hitting, did that person come from Mexico where their DNA wouldn't be in our system over here? Is it a person who doesn't get in trouble with the law? I mean, it's got to be something. And here we sit trying to figure it out. But let's just pray and pray hard that they know and they're on a course of action that is going to get the answers we need. Because I honestly believe if they get the right person and nail that right person, just maybe we'll be able to find Miss Nancy. And that's the number one goal here. That's our number one goal. Just like with Sebastian's case. Our number one goal is finding these missing people. End of story. How we get there, that is not up to us. That's up to law enforcement to do their job and do it correctly. We can sit on here and talk every day about all the possibilities, but it's not our job. It's theirs. They're the ones that hold all the cards as to what direction that case is taking. So we sit here and we show everything we can find, what all new is happening, all the things that are going on. And there's lots and lots of questions that just sit here and surround us every single day. I'm just not seeing people do what has happened and be a part of it and not have a criminal history and driving high-end cars. Guys, there's a huge question mark hanging there. How can these people be connected in? What would the purpose be? What would the purpose be? If they're doing it for money, well, they got pretty high dollar cars. Sounds to me like they can afford to get those cars. What's up? What's going on? Were those cars like a gift for this to happen? You would think they wouldn't have got those till after. Or a person with a job that doesn't allow them to have records or law issues for employment. Therefore, you come back to the Mexico theory. Did that person come from Mexico? It's only 45 minutes away. No matter how we look at it, I honestly believe this is seriously a planned event. This wasn't a random thing. I do not believe. I believe this is a planned event. There had been some break-ins, some robberies, some things taken around that neighborhood a few times. Good golly, folks, we live in America. That happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't nothing alarming. But my question is, what happened inside that home? And where did they take Miss Nancy to? Because had she, just like Sebastian, wandered off in the middle of the night, they would have found her. They would have found her. She hasn't been found. And so with that, guys, I say thank you so much for being here and listening to me and considering different types of possibilities with this case, because there's a lot of different ways this could be happening and going. And I'm just proud and grateful that you guys are here every night to listen and to consider all the things. Guys, we don't do anything over here to cause hate or harm. We just talk about all the possibilities that are out there, what we're seeing, what could be possible. And it's all done for helpful purposes, as always. So, guys, I'm going to let y'all get out of here. I've held y'all up long enough. I do appreciate y'all so much. Say prayers for Miss Nancy. I hope that we don't sit here 2 years later trying to wonder, where could she be? What could have happened? No case should ever have to go on that long. And if there's new updates tomorrow, we'll cover Miss Nancy as well. I think we'll probably go to a dual thing as far as if there's new updates. We'll talk about it for Miss Nancy's case, but we will definitely do Sebastian's case. Guys, in all actuality, we are 5 days away. 5. The 26th was the day he was reported missing. He was last seen on the 25th. And therefore, we're just shy of the date of him going missing. It's just sad. Breaks my heart. I wish we didn't have to live in a world where people can disappear. Not a trace. Nothing at all. I don't know. It's really sad. But I do thank you all for being here. I appreciate y'all so much. All your comments and everything and your interaction. I love it. That's how we learn things. That's how we go over things. That's how we clarify things. Working together. I love you guys. Y'all be safe out on these streets. I will be back on again tomorrow. We will go over all the things some more. We'll keep digging. Until then, everybody, love and hugs. Good night.